My name's Mike. I host Your Dark Companion. And I want to thank you all for joining us on patreon.com. And also, do check out the Sunset Lounge because there's all kinds of good things going on there, such as the Ingle Angle, a weekly combination of commentary on sports, entertainment, pop culture, family, with Mac Ingle of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Mac takes a very unusual angle on things, so check out the Ingle Angle.
Nobody would have thought that I would be the one. Rhyner, sports talk. Baseball, 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 baseball.
Oh, with the big mic. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Okay, now I get it.
We got a lightning strike, boys. What happened over there, Grego? We had a little lightning strike right outside the window.
All right. Here's a tip for all these Americano League teams.
Wait, you said tip?
Yeah, tip.
Okay.
With a P.
Keep jamming.
The ticket, colon, nothing but a big Gen X jerk-off sake.
This is a cool night or what? Although somebody would hear that and go, bullshit.
I'm back, bitches.
Hey, everybody. Hi. It is time for another episode of Your Dark Companion. This is the 20th of January. This is a day where we have all rang in the new and rang out the old, or it's probably the other way it's supposed to be. But yes, we are here. It's another episode of Your Dark Companion. We are here inside the nurturing biosphere of the mothership. The whole crew is here. Shoopy, Ashley, Mickey, Beckham, everybody here. And I'm very excited to talk to our guest today. Today we're going to visit with a guy that I've known of a lot longer than I've actually known. And you know, of course, I should preface this with I only get people I know on here. This is just my way of spiffing my friends or talking to my friends or hanging with my friends. And I'm very, very reluctant to wander outside that. That's what people say about this thing. And today we're going to only reinforce that notion a little bit more because I got a radio guy on here today. And this radio guy is Jay Craswell.
Thank you.
Yes.
I didn't know you had that many people in here.
Oh, yeah, we do. There's more than it looks. They're noisier than they seem, too.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Of course.
Now, you've got a fascinating career for us to talk about, and I want to get into that. But first, it is very cold here in the D today. What's the temperature over there, Shoopy? What's
like
the temperature
30.
like? 30?
Let's see.
It feels colder.
Double check, but that's right about where it was. 33.
Oh, 33
Yeah.
above freezing.
Everything's melting.
But
Yeah.
it feels like 26.
Yes, it feels like 26. So, yes, we're working on an uncharacteristically cold day here in the D.
Winds to the northeast. 8 miles per hour.
There you go.
I don't know what the dew point is.
Any word on the barometric pressure or anything
Yeah,
like
I'm
that?
working on that. The air quality is good.
All right.
That's nice.
That's good.
So we're not going to die.
Yeah, usually when it's cold, it seems to get better.
What's
I
up
think-
with that?
I don't know. I think cold air gets rid of all the things that might cause us to die. Die while we're walking down the street or something. But I don't know anything about that.
We should all move to Antarctica then.
We probably should. Except I don't think you'd like it too much.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's cold, but there's nothing to do there.
Yeah. We'll start a podcast.
Could. What kind of internet do you think they get down there?
We might have to use what is it, Starlink or whatever, but we'll figure it out.
Y'all don't start because Antarctica has great internet. All the government buildings are down there. Come on now.
I feel like this
There's
is a conspiracy.
Yes, it's a
from Ashley.
conspiracy.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Don't start.
Well, if I were out there in the cowboy world today, I think I would do everything I could to avoid Jerry. Because I'll bet this is not a good day for him. Not only is his team in the shape that it's in, but now it's appearing as though Dion is fine where he is. It appears that that ship might have sailed, but who knows for sure. But above and beyond any and all of that, he now has the intense pleasure of watching probably his two least favorite NFC East bunkmates going to the NFC Championship game next week. The hated Commanders, gotta almost call them their old name.
Careful.
The Washington football team?
Yes.
There you go.
They should have just stuck with that. What's wrong with that? I thought that's kind of a cool, offbeat, kind of dignified name.
Yeah, it's kind of what they're doing in the NHL right now with the former Coyotes. They're what? Just the Utah Hockey Club.
Yeah.
Yep.
That sounds cool.
They got a good idea there.
Yeah.
Well, they've got them in the NFC Championship game because they pulled off the upset of Detroit yesterday, which I don't think anybody thought that would happen, but they did. And there's nothing fluky about it. They just got out there and beat their ass in every facet of the game. There was no weird bounce of the ball or anything like that. On that day or that night, they were the better team and they won the football game. And then yesterday, the dreaded and feared Philadelphia Eagles got into a shootout with the Rams. And this was close all the way, but the dreaded and feared did enough to win the game. So they're in the NFC Championship game. You've got Washington. And you've got the dreaded and feared Philadelphia Eagles. And where are the Cowboys?
Sitting at home wearing shorts.
I wish we knew. I wish we knew.
And looking at Brian Schottenheimer, apparently. You see, now he's apparently the betting favorite to be the head coach.
That will excite the masses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
After all
he's
this
a guy
talk of
Jerry
Dion and
he's a guy Jerry can control.
right.
So that matters. I think Jerry probably was very aware that if he chose Dion and Dion really wanted to come here, which apparently is not the case, then that would be a difficult situation for him, or a more difficult situation for him. But Brian Schottenheimer, who has been a career assistant, career coordinator, good one, but I don't recall hearing him mentioned in any coaching searches. But now, yes, his name seems to be rising to the top.
And you think they're going to give him Jason Witten as his assistant head coach or some position like that? Some sort of package deal? We'll give you the head coaching job, but here's your successor.
But you got to take Jason Witten.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's your successor. All we want you to do is warm him up to take over. And then when you're gone, you can go back to being a coordinator somewhere. If they're going to do that to Brian Schottenheimer, they better pay him pretty well for it.
I'm sure they will.
Well, we'll see what happens there. This is nowhere near, I don't think, ready to settle out yet. We'll probably make it to the end of the week before anything happens here. And we should mention Kellen Moore. He's in the mix somewhere. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're taking him seriously, but
he interviewed.
He's in the mix. Yeah, he interviewed. He's in the mix somewhere. But let's talk radio with Mr. J. What do you say?
Yeah, Jay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Well, I want to talk to you about your latest venture first of all.
Sure.
Because I am a big fan.
All right. Thank you.
But before we get there, I want to know how you wound up there and how you wound up here. Now, you're a Pittsburgh guy.
Yes, sir. Born and raised.
I believe we've had this discussion
Yep.
in the past about what a fabulous town I think Pittsburgh is.
Yep.
I've been there a couple of times. I was just going up there to go to a couple games at PNC.
Great park.
And yeah, it is a great park. They should all be so great. And I wound up falling in love with the place. I mean, from the time that I drove through that tunnel.
It's the way to do it.
Yep, it is. Coming in from the airport, and those of you who have been to Pittsburgh and driven in from the airport know this. You drive in, and you really can't see too much of the city. You just know you're headed in the right way. And then you go through the tunnel. What's the name of the tunnel?
Fort Pitt Tunnel.
Yeah, you go through Fort Pitt Tunnel, which is pretty long. And when you get out the other side, there it is, right in front of you. And if you catch it on a good weather day, when it's sunny and everything, it is just fabulous.
It's said to be the only city with an entrance.
Yeah, that's right.
And I will tell you this, at night when all the lights are on and that fountain is going, even better.
Wow. I'll bet it is.
Yeah. There are a couple movies that have featured that in it too, but you know, I haven't been there permanently in 38 years, but it's still my home. I go back every year, at least to go to some baseball games and see all my friends. They're still there. My closest friends are still there. Now, don't go on a day like today because it's probably 3 degrees there.
Yeah.
And that's,
you got to pick your spots.
I don't want that at all, ever. So.
Just like you don't need to come here in the middle of summer.
Yep.
When it's 109 degrees at 9 o'clock at night, every night, then, you know, you don't need to go to Pittsburgh this time of year.
Correct.
Either.
Yes, it's 12 degrees in Pittsburgh
Yeah,
today.
there you go. That's probably the high for the day, too.
Yes, and 0 degree low. Tomorrow it's going to snow. I don't know what direction the winds are going, though.
That's okay.
So you work in radio up there? Did you get into the game in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, and I'll be quick about this because I've told this story a lot. I first listened to the radio when I was 6. And I was just fascinated with hearing the songs and the requests and the features. And so I made up my mind that I wanted to be in the business. And I went away to college, and I went to Bucknell University, which is in central Pennsylvania. It's about an hour east of Penn State. That's how everybody can relate to it. And I got involved at the college radio station. I did not have a major in radio or communications. They didn't have one, and it was completely volunteer run. And I became the program director within 1 semester and was for the rest of my time there.
Did somebody just come up to you one day and say, hey, you want to be PD?
Pretty much. I was one of those, I'll do anything, show me what to do, and I'll do it. And in fact, twice the dean of the business school said to me, oh, you're one of those radio people because you're trying to flunk out, aren't you? And it's because I hung out at the radio station all the time. And I met people there that I'm still great friends with today. I was the best man in their wedding. It was just the best. And I lucked out after that. I went home to Pittsburgh without a job. And I read an article in the paper about a new radio station that was signing on the air in April. And it was an AM daytimer. Could barely hear it. And it was an urban adult contemporary station. And I'm the whitest guy possible. And they hired me. And I was the only white guy on the station. And it lasted 6 months, and then they shut it down because it didn't make any money. But we had an FM station in the building. And so I spent 5.5 years there. Within a year, I was the operations manager and program director and music director. And at some point, I had had enough. So I moved to Washington, D.C., and I worked for Mutual Broadcasting, which most people remember as The Larry King Show on the radio. I didn't work a lot with Larry, but I can tell you story after story about him. They're all true and they're all fascinating. But then I really wanted to get back into real radio. I mean, that job had great benefits. You worked 5 days a week. You went home and nobody bothered you, but I was missing it. You know, we all had that disease.
Right.
And so a friend of mine from Pittsburgh, Chuck Brinkman, was here in Dallas at K-Love, and he said, I have an opening for an assistant program director. You do 1 shift a week. You do all the music. And it was for a lot more money than I was making at Mutual. So I came to Dallas. That was in '89. And 6 months later, I got promoted out of there to Florida. And I spent 6 years in Florida, in Orlando and Tallahassee, and that was nice. And then Chuck called me back and said, please come back. We're selling the station to a real company, Infinity. And so we'll run it like a real radio station. And so I came back March 25th, 1995. Not that I remembered that. And I might say that 6 years later, I came back and was making 25% less. The nature of our industry.
Of course.
And I did everything. I eventually was the assistant program director for K-Love, for KVIL, and Jack FM. And finally, they made me the boss of K-Love, the program director. It only took 20 years.
Does Jack FM still broadcast from out on 183?
No, they moved into this building a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, into the broom closet. It's
there.
a broom closet, but they put a studio in there. And in fact, one of their IDs says, from the broom closet of the Fitzhugh building, it's Jack FM. And so, yes, that's it. And when I was there, I had 14 people on staff at K-Love, not counting sales or administrative. I mean, air people and production people. And currently, there's one. But that's just the nature of the industry. I'm not putting them down.
No.
I was treated like gold by the people locally. Corporate, I'm not going to talk about, but locally, I got treated fantastically.
What is it about you? I mean, as you're giving us your career in a nutshell there, I mean, everywhere you've been, you were either brought there to be or soon enough put into a position of leadership. What's the deal with you, man?
Yeah, what's your deal?
Yeah, boy, I wish I knew. Oh, it's too late. Just kidding. No, you know what it is? I was willing to do what needed to be done to get the job done without attitude. And it's funny, I am by nature a very, very negative, pessimistic person. That's a Pittsburgh thing, by the way. But I quickly realized that nobody wants to be around that person. And if you're a can-do person and you're going to work with other people and help them do their jobs, people will see you in a more positive light. I actually had a sales manager over here once say to me, and the way she said it, she went, "Everybody likes you." And I went, yeah, but that's all it was. And to the point where when it was time for my job to be eliminated, they tried to find a new position for me, create a job just for me. Now, I understand it's because it looked horrible that they let me go after 27 years and I had done nothing wrong, and they wanted to save face. I understand that. That's the nature of the business world. But what they wanted me to do, I had no interest in doing. And so I chose to do nothing for a good year.
Which brings me around to my own experience with you.
Yes.
And I was telling Becca this earlier today. I've talked to and gotten to know over the years a number of people who have worked with you or for you or under you or whatever the case may be. And I have yet to run across anybody who has got one bad thing to say about you. And in this business where people, number one, talk.
Yeah.
Number two, they can be a little bit on the entitled side. They can think that better things than they are getting should be coming their way. We have people in this business who have flaws in their character like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure that's not unique to radio. Everybody has that.
Yes, true.
But still, I find it very unusual that in the position that you've been in, where you've been their boss, there's no two ways about it. You've been their boss, and they thought of you that way, yet they still don't have one bad thing to say about you. And what I hear most is, God, I love that guy.
Guilty.
I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No, you're not putting me on the spot. And believe me, many people have said those nice words to me as well. And all I say to them is, I blame my parents for that. They raised me to be like that. Not do this, do that. No, you learn through, how you're raised. And I learned to treat people well And not everyone's going to be your cup of tea, but in the business world, you should get along with them or try to, but you still have to know that you're the boss. And sometimes that calls for very hard decisions. And I know several people with whom I've worked here that I had to fire, and I'm still tight with them, and they want to talk to me and go out to lunch and, have a good time because they respect me. And I'm not bragging. That's just the way it is.
I know. And there is a lot to be said for that. I mean, you don't run across that in any facet of this world we live in, especially that facet.
Yeah, especially a program director, whether it's because of the decisions you have to make or just the stress that you're under or whatever. I feel like that's a position that it can be very easy to be difficult for an underling, so to speak, to deal with.
A lot of us remember the great Roger Emmerich. Mm-hmm. And when he passed away, they had service for him at Garland or Mesquite in this giant building, and there were hundreds of people in there. And afterwards, I came outside, and one of my coworkers, who happened to have been his boss, said to me, this is a beautiful service for a great guy. And he goes, all I know is there's a building full of people in there that hate me. And that's when it hit me. I luckily, I never had to deal with that. But he did, and he faced that every day. And I'm very fortunate in that regard. I'll add one more thing to that. When I still go out occasionally with my former boss, the man who had to terminate me. We'll go out for beers. We'll be at Chelsea Corner, every few months. And I'll say, I ran into so-and-so. And he'll be like, whoa, that was 15 years ago. What are they doing now? And that's okay. He's been through thousands of people in the building, but I kept in touch with them. There isn't a person that left there that I would say, I don't want to be friends with them, or I don't want to talk. There's no one. So I think that goes both ways. You just don't see that in this game. Oh, I agree completely. And it's sad.
Yep, it is sad, but it says a lot about you, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I do.
How did you get the radio bug when you were a kid?
My sister was 5 years older than me. And my first memory, showing my age, was the Kennedy assassination. My second memory was the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. And my sister, who was 5 years older than me, said to me, we have to watch Ed Sullivan tonight. There's this group on called the Beatles. And thankfully, my Depression-era parents didn't care that we watched it. Mm-hmm. And so we sat there, and I was 5. I was fascinated by the energy and, them shaking their hair and stuff like that. And my sister, being 9, well, that was it. So from then on, it was British invasion and Motown music in my house. And my sister led the way. And so I caught the bug. I caught the disease about the music. And then I discovered I could hear that music on the radio. And I was fascinated. I listened to the Thursday afternoon top 30 countdown, and I listened to the request show at night. And I just was completely fascinated with someone was talking to me. Yeah. And even though I couldn't explain the technology behind it, I thought that person was on the other end of that cord over there, But it was my disease, and I got it then when I was a kid.
That's the way it was for me, too.
Sure.
I mean, I love the music, but I would listen to those guys who came on between songs, and I thought those were some really cool cats.
Absolutely. I have friends from Dallas, born and raised, and they still talk about Jimmy Rabbit and all the people that were on Cliff and K-Box and KFJZ back in the day.
Yes.
They still talk about that.
I remember them all. I remember Jimmy Rabbit. I remember Charlie and Harrigan. I remember Marky Baby on KFJZ.
Yep.
And all the rest of those guys. And I thought, man, do these guys get paid for this?
Exactly. Exactly.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a free sandwich.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, here's another thing. I was very cognizant of not burning those bridges when I was working with people because this is called gratitude. I worked with Ron Chapman for 5 years. I worked with Jody Dean for 13 years. I worked with Brad Sham for a couple of years. You know, Drew Pearson and Charlie Waters did my pre and post game show for the Cowboys broadcast. I was the executive producer of the Cowboys radio network right before they came to the Ticket when it was at K-Love. So I got to work with these legends and saw how they went about their business. I learned from them.
Jody Dean has sat right in that chair that you're sitting in.
Yep.
Brad Sham will. And some not too distant off into the future point.
Yep.
So I'm right there with you. I just respect the hell out of those guys.
Me too.
And they did great work.
Absolutely. Legends.
So what is the most fun you've had in any job you've been in?
Wow. The list is long. I will tell you this. I made a gratitude list on my laptop at home just so I don't forget about these things. And the things that this business has allowed me to do. This business sent me to England on a Beatles tour of England. It sent me to the Hollywood Bowl to see John Williams conduct the music of the movies. That Steven Spielberg introduced 5 or 6 of the numbers.
Right.
It sent me to Disney World 6 times. I got free LASIK surgery. I got progressive lens bifocals that I didn't pay for. I made so much money doing appearances. And I met a lot of famous people, mostly musicians. But, you know, who's the nicest person you ever met? It's a tie between Tom Hanks and Henry Winkler, and I could just go on and on. Kelly Clarkson, you just keep going on. I've met these people, and I'm not into the pictures and autograph thing. It was just nice to meet them and see that they're really nice people. In fact, most of them are just fantastic.
Now, I became acutely aware of you a few years back when you were at K-Love, and this is when HD stations started to pop up, and you know where I'm going with this.
I do.
And one day I stumbled across K-Love HD3. And I just thought, holy shit, man, what is this? This sounds like real live underground radio back in the 60s.
Yep.
When FM radio first came out, I was listening when I was a kid to Cliff and KFJZ and all those AM stations. But I first started paying attention to FM when KNUS
98.7
came out. 98.7 K-News came out. And what that was a station that played underground stuff, underground music, heavy music, as it was called back then. And that was, I was a kid playing in bands and stuff like that back then. And so I was onto that music, excuse me, but there was nowhere on the radio that I could find it until K-News came along.
Yep.
And that's what really got me into the music radio thing. A couple of other competitors popped up with K-News, but K-News was K-News. And I had to be in my room with the transistor radio on. I had to make sure the dial was placed just so, and that the radio was placed just so to pull it in.
Yep.
But man, I love that music so much that I would do anything for it. I would do anything to get it. And that's kind of the thing that set me on my path. You know? I mean, my path was quite a bit longer than that, but you know, you talk a lot about Chuck Brinkman, a guy who's been very influential in your career.
Absolutely.
He is a guy that I don't think I know.
He left us 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
He left K-Love in 05.
I should say I don't think I knew.
No, I know what you mean.
I'm aware of that. But.
Yeah, he left K-Love in 05.
Yeah.
He retired. I mean, he did some work in Greenville. You know, it was part of a station over there. In fact, he owned part of it. But that, you know, he was finished. He'd been in it forever.
Yeah.
Since the 50s.
Yeah. I mean,
he's a guy, and this is, you know, anyone who knew him, he could talk about a doorknob and make it interesting. And he could do it in 7 seconds. And there's no higher compliment you can give to a top 40 disc jockey than say that about them.
That's right. Say what you're going to say and say it quick.
Yep.
Get right to the point.
Yep.
All right. So tell me about the advent of K-Love HD3, because
it's a good story too.
this is where what I really want to get to it. I brought up K News just to illustrate my own experience or my own fanship, I guess, not experience of that kind of radio.
So when HD radio began, probably 15 years ago, maybe more, it all runs together. We turned on K-Love HD2, and my boss at the time said, I want you to put on an all Beatles radio station. And this made me happier than any person could be. And so I did it. I had actualities, I had interviews, I had concert features. I interviewed Pete Best, their original drummer. It was great. But then the market started changing and Memories came on the air and others were focusing different areas musically, and we were going to get some competition. And so we decided to blow up the all Beatles experiment. I yelled at my boss when he told me. And we put an oldies station on there, which is what K-Love used to be, 60s, 50s, you know, and maybe some early 70s. And so K-Love HD2 became that and did great. And eventually, K-Love HD3, we were told by corporate, we'll pay for the exciter on the transmitter to do an HD3 station. What should you do? And the people at work here said, we should put on that, you know, Entercom at the time has the station for LGBTQ plus, and we'd think about putting it on there. And I said, you're thinking about putting that on a station that's known for oldies and old Texans. I'm sorry to say it, but that's what I mean. And when you have KVIL, which is now an alternative station and has nothing on their HD3, you should put that on the HD3 and let me do something on K-Love HD3. And my boss said, all right, what's your idea? And I said, I need something that's not quite classic vinyl and not quite deep tracks and not quite Jack FM, but it needs to play those cuts off albums that you just don't hear. And the first song I thought is Victim of Love by the Eagles. Here's why. No one wants to hear Hotel California again. I know in the mass media you do, and I understand that. They don't want to hear New Kid in Town. What's another great song off that album? And the answer was Victim of Love. So I thought, well, with all of those albums that sold millions of copies, guess what? There's those songs that exist. There's 4, 5, 6 songs on these albums that we never hear that people know because they own the albums. And I know I'm dating myself and the audience by doing that, but that's the way it is.
It is
and
the
so
way it is.
My boss said, all right, go ahead, do whatever you need to. And from time to time, he would say to me, how's it feel to have your own radio station? And I would just laugh. I go, it's doing great. And one time I came in and I said, and this isn't streaming, this was over the air, HD3. I said, I have 342 listeners. And he said, you have 342 friends? And I said, maybe. And
I don't know, you probably do.
Well, around that time is when you first posted about it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I have that screen capture on my phone to this day. Thank you. It was 2019, I think. And it evolved from there to, you know, your standard classic rock stations play maybe 400 different songs. I played at that time 1,600 different songs. And I purposely didn't play Freebird, Sweet Home Alabama, Stairway to Heaven, Won't Get Fooled Again. I love them, but you can hear them anywhere. Play something else from those albums. And so that's what I did. And essentially, that's my CD collection on the radio. Okay, I'd bring my CDs in, I'd rip them into the system, or I'd find them on the corporate server. Usually my versions were cleaner than theirs. And I'd load them in. So I did that, and then I left my job, but it was still on the air. And about 5 months later, the company was facing financial difficulties, and they did not want to pay the music rights fees to keep those HD music stations on the air. I understand that they eventually filed for bankruptcy. You know, they're trying to cut everywhere. So the HDs went off the air unless it's a spoken word thing, which they don't have to pay rights fees for. I understand that. It's a business thing. I keep saying that, but it's true. So after about a year of being unemployed, I needed something to do. I was going nuts. And so I started a spreadsheet I had neglected to copy my spreadsheet from the radio station, which was the bane of my existence for about 6 months, and built a new spreadsheet using the Joel Whitburn album book and looking at albums and the cuts. And oh, yeah, I need that one. Oh, I need that one. And so I built a huge spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet now has 2,700 songs on it. Now, we all know that that doesn't work in the mass appeal world of radio because, there aren't enough home runs when you do that. But I don't want to play Sweet Home Alabama. Okay. I'll play The Needle and the Spoon by Leonard Skinner, and I won't play Stairway to Heaven. I'll play Trampled Underfoot. And some of these songs I didn't even know. But I have friends, not unlike you, who know these songs and go, you should try this out. Or they go to their Spotify playlist and they get recommendations for songs that sound like this. And I'm telling you, I found hundreds of songs that way. I found a song this weekend by Jerry Rafferty. Okay, I don't play Baker Street. It's too popular. I play Days Gone Down and Home and Dry. But I found a song called The Ark, and it's on his first solo album, City to City. I heard it on Deep Tracks. I'll give them a plug right here. And I just, oh my God, I said, what is that? So The Ark is going to be on my radio station probably as soon as this afternoon. And that's how it works. And so I'm to the point now, there's 2,700 songs. Without friends' help, this never would have happened because of the technology.
I think we're jumping the gun on you here.
That's okay. No, he nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Thank you. And without, I said, I went to your friend, Steve Eberhardt.
Yes.
And I said, Steve, I want to do an online internet radio station. What do I do? And I took him to lunch over at Preston and Royal and the burger place there.
He's a great lunch hang.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he was...
Boy, I wish I'd have been in on that.
Here's the thing. I needed step-by-step, logical, talk to me like I'm in 5th grade. Okay, here's what you do first. Here's how much that costs. Here's what you do here. You could do this instead. Here's how much that costs. Then you do this. He was not there. Steve was so excited, as he is, talking about our business, and as successful as he has been, he fired me up, but he didn't give me any help. And I didn't tell him that, but I bought his lunch, so we're okay.
No.
And then I found another friend of mine, Ben Bradshaw, who worked for me 10 years weekends at KVIL and KLove, and he's an IT guy, and he currently works at KLTY. His last shift is coming up in about a week because they're shutting the doors there too. And he said, I'll help you. I'll come over and I'll show you how to do this. And there's free software that we use. And I paid for Music Master so I could schedule the music. I got the friends and family discount, and I've known them forever. And I said, okay, Ben, tell me step by step, what do I do? And he came over and spent like 8 hours at my house, July 5th last year. These numbers stick with me. And he got me to the point where I'm up on the air. I spent months loading songs in. He built me a server and gave it to me. And he did all that for me for nothing. And this will go back to something you talked about earlier. I wanted to find a way to ask him why he's doing this, but I didn't want to say, why the hell are you doing this? And I said, Ben, I can't, this is phenomenal what you're doing for me, ... And he said, you know why? Because you're nice to me. Yeah. He was a weekend guy, but when Ben said to me, explain to me how Nielsen works, I showed him. Explain to me how your music research works, I showed him. Show me how the music scheduling software works, I showed him. That's it. That's all it took. And I love teaching people. So that's what I did. And because of that, this guy has given so much of his time to help me for nothing to do this internet radio station.
Now, see, if you don't believe that you get what you give in this world,
absolutely,
then I don't know what
that
to tell you after hearing that story.
Yep. Well, and here's another thing he did for me. I didn't want to call it Tracks with 1X because KLove HD3 was classic Tracks. And I know they have that copyrighted, although it hasn't been on the air in a year, so I'm sure they lost the copyright. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to possibly get involved in any legal stuff. Mm-hmm. And not that it would have happened, it wouldn't have, but I didn't want to do it because they don't deserve that either. So I said, well, let's call it Tracks with 2 X's. And so we Googled it, and there's already a Tracks radio with 2 X's. And they would sell me their domain for $4,100. And I thought, that's not it. And Ben says, try 3X's. And I went, okay. And he goes, because then you can call it TRA Triple X. And he goes, it's not dirty, but people will remember it. So I went, TRA Triple X. Oh, it's available. Oh, it costs me, $9.77 a year. Done. So I'm paying for the music scheduling. I've got the name and the domain, and then I need someone to stream it for me. So he said, this is on him again. He said, you may have heard of Live 365. And I said, no, I have. And he goes, well, they're offering like a free trial for 3 weeks. And if you like it, then you can sign up. So we did Live 365, and it's fine. And they give me analytics. I can sit here and tell you who's listening and where they are. Not many, but they're there. Mm-hmm. And it's $59 a month. So I'm spending between the music soft, blah, 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 $167 a month. Now, why am I doing this? Am I doing it out of the goodness of my heart? Hell no. I'm doing it so I have something to listen to. It is completely a passion project. It's my music, but it's randomly scheduled every day, and I put little features in there. And if some of my friends come along and listen, awesome.
That's the best reason of all to do anything.
It is. And guess what? And one of my sweepers on the air says this. The best part about this radio station is no one is telling me how to do my job.
Yeah. Heard that many times.
Yep. And I didn't have that issue here. I had the issue on a corporate level as far as I'm concerned. So I didn't have to deal with that. And now I have something to do every day. It might take an hour out of my day, but I look forward to it. And I'm thinking, what feature can I do? And, I come up with these new features. One I had, cover versions. So there's cover versions of songs. And so the guy in between says, 60 years of rock and roll, there's lots of cover versions. So is that the cover version, or is this the cover version? And then you just play the cover version, or the other way around. And I'm not giving the right answer. That's up to you, the listener. So my newest one, and this is just these little stupid, clever things that make me happy. And this one is called Same Title, Different Song.
Yeah.
I've got 3 songs called Mother.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd, John Lennon, Chicago, and Danzig. There's 4 right there. And so, now you hear a song start, and then you hear, we call this one Same Title, Different Song. The listener goes, I wonder what it is. Or they guess. They play along. They don't win a prize. But, as you know, when you do a contest on the radio, not everyone calls in. Hell, nobody calls in.
But they're all playing along.
They're all playing along.
Yeah.
And so that's that radio thing that even though we're talking internet and not as many people, that's what makes it cool, at least for me.
It hit me because I'm one of these guys, and I know this makes me a real weirdo, but give me a choice of a song that I really like, but have heard 5,000 times before, or a song that I might not like as much or might be just kind of lukewarm on, but I hear it once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
That is a no-brainer for me.
Absolutely.
I'm taking the one that I never hear every time, and I'm never thinking twice about it. Yep. And that's the nerve that you guys hit with me.
Absolutely. And I think part of it is, even though it's not the big popular song, it. And I know some people are into listening to unfamiliar things because they want to learn. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm too old. I don't have time to learn anymore. Okay. But I want to hear something.
I occasionally will go there, but for the most part, I'm with you.
Well, The Ark by Jerry Rafferty. It was on satellite radio Saturday, and I heard it, and I went, I Shazammed it to figure out what it was.
Yeah.
It's going to be on my radio station now. And there are, I don't know, a couple hundred songs on there that I didn't know.
Yeah.
I still hear them, and I go, who is that?
I've Shazammed you guys quite a bit.
For sure. And the thing is, I started it 1964-ish. I don't want it to sound like oldies, okay? I want it to have that cool hip rock edge to it. Like We Ain't Got Nothing Yet by the Blues Magoos and stuff like that. But I go up to maybe 2015 or 2016 if it fits. I don't care how new it is. I play Dawes on there.
Yeah.
I play Rival Sons on there. I don't care if it fits. Good. Play it.
Man, I love the wide range. I love how deep you go into the catalogs. For me, it's radio the way it should be.
And was at one time.
Yeah, and was at one time.
Well, I kind of grew up on it too. I mean, I was more of the pop thing, but the rock station I grew up on was WDVE in Pittsburgh, and they've been there for 56 years.
Now, tell everybody how to find this. If
it's a good idea.
To you, like it does
idea.
to me, here's what you need to do to get down on some tracks.
Good idea. The station's name is traxradio.com, and that's with 3 X's. That's why we say TRA Triple X. And it's also available on the Live 365 app, and it's free. And even me, who can't figure out anything technically, figured out how to listen to it on my smart speaker and on my television and on my phone and in my car. Basically, just find the app, and it's on there, and you put in Trax with 3 X's. It'll be there.
It's awesome, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It really is.
It makes my day. It makes my day that others listen to.
And here's another cool thing about it. Back in the underground radio days, they covered a very, very wide range. I mean, it was not at all unusual. And think about this in the context of today, of rock and roll stations that you listen to today. Back then, it was not at all unusual to hear soul tracks by black artists.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Back then. And you go there too.
Yes. And that's why. If it was cool, they played it.
Yeah.
I play a ton of Gino Vanelli because I heard it on an album rock station growing up.
Yeah.
And I play some Earth, Wind, and Fire. I play Prince. I play jazz. I play George Benson.
Yeah.
I play Happiness is Just Around the Corner, which you gave me.
That's right.
You gave me that one.
Yes, I did.
And so I play Marvin Gaye. But no, I don't play What's Going On or I Heard It Through the Grapevine. I play Inner City Blues and Trouble Man.
That was one of the really cool things about underground radio back in the day. It's one of the really cool things that really drew me into what you're doing here. Because, I mean, for me, when it comes to music, there's a place for everything out there.
Absolutely.
And I don't see why people paint themselves into little boxes or little corners the way they do, but that's the nature of the business, and that's just the way it is out there. But it's just so cool to have something around here that breaks that mold.
I did some statistics to explain this to a friend of mine who his first question, he lives in Philly. I went to college with him. He listens and he said, "Do you make any money at this?" And I went, "No, I could, but I don't have enough listenership to sell advertising. Plus I hate selling, so I'm not going to do that. But if I hit a certain listening level, Live 365 will insert ads and split the money with me." I almost hit that number in December. So what I did is I saw how many in a month, how many listeners do I have? Roughly 1,000. Okay. And they listen for, on average, slightly over an hour. Okay. Now, if you listen to the regular radio, I called it before and after. And my before at K-Love, I had 1.5 million listeners a week, but they listened for 11 minutes. So I've got an hour and 10 minutes now versus 11 minutes then. So this, with an album rock station that has a deep library, it's more about how long they listen, not about how many listeners you get. So that's what we're doing. Another thing I added in, you got me going here.
Good.
Comedy.
Oh, really?
I hate when they overdo it.
Yeah.
Okay. But I am, there's like 6 or 7 things in there, and I could find some more. Monty Python, Cheech and Chong, Tom Lehrer, and those are old. Okay.
So great, though.
And I have an entire hard drive full of Firesign Theater that I'm about to go through and pick some stuff out of that. That's hard. It's hard to find short ones there. But I'm going to start, and I make sure they don't play too close together. Like if I play a comedy cut, you won't hear another one for at least 5 hours.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be special, not, oh, here comes another one of those.
So do you like program it every single day?
Yes.
Like when?
Well, I'll tell you.
Have you programmed tomorrow yet?
I did tomorrow and the day after. I'd like to stay ahead just because of possible technical issues. So the music scheduling software that I bought, which is called Music Master Original. You give it all the rules and regulations to put songs in categories and tell it, I don't want to play this next to this or that next to that. And then you hit the button and it does it. And it schedules an entire day of music in about 8 seconds. Wow. And I have a lot of rules. Okay, and my rules, being that it's album rock, are don't play the same thing next to each other. Do not play Southern rock next to Southern rock. Do not play progressive next to progressive. Do not play modern, and I have like 15 of those categories, but to keep them apart from each other so it's always variety. And so it schedules that in about 8 seconds, and then I look at it manually, and I will make manual changes, maybe 2 or 3 a day. Mm-hmm. And then it just goes. And I have friends say to me, did you make that segue on purpose from that song to that song? Or the way it faded under and then the drums kicked on it? Nope. The software did it. I told it how to do it, but the software does it. And in about 8 seconds, it does that. And I just mess with it for the rest of the hour. And then I send it off and I go to lunch.
Awesome. Just awesome. Well, look, if you have never heard underground radio before, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know if this captures the real essence of it, but it comes damn close. And it's as close as we're ever going to get again to radio the way it was back then, when it was really, really great and really, really different.
Agreed.
And really, really changing the way radio was done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the most dramatic shifts in radio listening that I can ever remember. And I've been listening to radio all my life.
So 2 other things. One, I mentioned I don't have any ads, and that's fine. I can pay them to make sure I never have any, but I'd rather, maybe split some money with them at some point. There are no disc jockeys. As a program director, my job was to tell disc jockeys to shut up and or guide them. And when I listen to, I'm not going to blast local folks because I haven't listened to the radio in 2 years locally. When I listen to satellite, I have a fit with the people on there and how they yak endlessly and the stupid stuff they say. And I don't want that. Plus, if it was me, I would never listen because I don't want to hear me on the radio. Okay, I've done it, for 45 years or whatever, but I don't want to hear me on the radio. I would cringe every time I heard myself. But the technology exists. I have to be able to voice track, pre-record if I want to. So that's down the road. But the other thing is, my voiceover guy, the guy who does all the imaging between records. He worked for me at that first job in Pittsburgh, or with me, I should say. And he was our production guy and voiceover guy, and he's got great pipes. And for the last 20-some years, he has been the voice of Disneyland.
Oh, really?
So when you walked in the park, he was the one that said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And then so many other things. He always did the parade. He would, anytime Disney needed, they would call Bill, and Bill would come in and do that. And Bill met his wife there. She's the voice of Disney's California Adventure. And so they live in Salt Lake City because that's where she's from, but they have a studio there, but they go to LA a lot for all the Disney stuff. And so I'll look at my analytics and I'll see, I've got 2 listeners in Salt Lake City today. And about 3 days later, I'll have 2 listeners in Upland, California. I'll go, they made the trip because I know where they're going. And Bill was the voice in Pittsburgh of this special hour-long show we did at night called Classic Tracks 40 years ago. We were fighting the corporate behemoths, and we were a mom and pop, and we needed to be different. We were an adult contemporary station, so at night we started playing those album cuts. Softer, Linda Ronstadt, James Taylor, stuff like that. But it stood out. We were number 1 at night, just doing that. And Bill was the voice of it and a lot of the inspiration behind it. And so when I told him I was going to do this, he goes, count me in, I'm free. And I said, does your agent have a say in this? He goes, no. And I said, will you get in trouble if I say your name out there, Bill Rogers? And he went, no. So Ben did all the technical stuff for free. Bill did this for free. Okay, so I'm very lucky and I'm very grateful that they made this dream come true.
Pretty awesome, Shoopy. You're doing good work over there, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And I appreciate you coming in here today and doing this with us.
My pleasure.
We have enjoyed this. He is the great Jay Craswell. And if you like what we're doing or you don't like what you're doing, what we're doing, let us know. You can reach us via chat under the community tab on the Patreon page. That's patreon.com/YourDarkCompanion. Or on social media, we're all over the place. On Instagram and TikTok, we are at Your Dark Companion. On Facebook, we are just Your Dark Companion. On X, we are at YDC_DFW. Tell your friends, tell your fam, we're out here on Patreon, Spotify. Now catch all the episodes of YDC and What's on Mike's Mind on YouTube. That is at the Old Gray Wolf 16. As time allows for you to highlight a Sunset Lounge show, don't forget to check out all the casts on the Sunset Lounge at patreon.com/Sunset Lounge DFW. Such as, I don't know, Shippy and Grooves, let's say. Whoa!
I've heard of them.
What about that? The boys will make your day with their satirical commentary on viral video clips. They like that. Internet memes. I don't know what a meme is. They do.
We'll show you.
Social media. Trending topics, sports, athletes, celebrities, and pop culture. They are Shippy and Grooves. You will like them. Thank you, Becca. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Shoopy. Thank you for checking us out. And if you want to know, or if you want to tell me what you think about what we're doing, and you don't want anybody else to see, I'm out there on social media as well. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever the hell it is.
He's got me blocked.
Yeah, I'm out there. I don't have anybody blocked. I don't block people. I don't. You think I got you blocked?
No.
Why would I block you?
I don't know.
You're Shoopy.
I'm the devil.
You are the devil. You are the devil, and you have your way in the end game. Jay, thank you, man.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Till next time, Veracuna, brothers and sisters.
All right. I'm gonna go take my pants off.
Your Dark Companion is a Stolen Water Media presentation.